some of you were at the interview yesterday, so I apologize for just being repetitive, but we all learn our, elevator pitches and you all know how that works. So I come to this position with what I describe as a lot of substance to being a board member on East Bay Regional Parks. I represent, I should start off, Ward 7, which is northern and eastern Contra Costa, essentially Hercules all the way out to Brentwood and north. Um, I've served at a policy level with East Bay Parks for about 22 years. I was on the equivalent of their planning commission for about 13 years. And then I've served on the board now 9 years. And my wife and I have been volunteer ambassadors. Essentially, we've been doing tabling all around Contra Costa and Alameda County for the last 20 years. Is that the timer?
There it
Okay,
is.
so that's what I think I bring to this, and we can talk about more specifics.
Okay. Thank you for that, Colin. I get to ask the first question, and that is, what are your top three priorities if elected?
Well, the priorities are based on what the park district is given to assess and pursue. And it's one of the most difficult things we have as a board to do. In other words, I can give an example. We have $500 million in projects in our books that planners have looked at and said, yes, we should pursue. We obviously don't have $500 million right away, or nor could we do them all at the same time. So we have to prioritize, and that's a tough thing to do. And it's what I hope to do in the next 4 years that I have is bring about some projects that are out there but haven't been done. We need to complete, for instance, the Bay Trail. I'm talking to West Contra Costa Democrats. This is between Point Pinole and Pinole Shores. That's a mile gap in the Bay Trail. Imagine when we complete that gap, you're going to have people all along Pinole and Hercules up to Rodeo commuting to Amazon, commuting to UPS on the trail instead of San Pablo Avenue. So expensive project, difficult project. We're sandwiched between railroad tracks and homes, and that's the kind of thing I want to accomplish. Um, and there's been some success there. We're actually raising money for that trail right now. And I'm going to be president of the board next year, so that is for me a priority is providing a broader level of leadership for the board. And the other, I guess, in terms of top three is we're uh, in the middle of creating a new master plan for the park district. The old one was 2013. COVID hit. We didn't do a new one. And we're now doing a new 10-year master plan. And I hope to complete that next year. And I'm just going to add one thing. The redistricting that's been going on lately means we have new legislators, and it's hard to track them. And I intend to spend a lot of time building relationships with the various legislators, as you folks all know, are responsible for getting us state money and congressional members that get us federal money.
All right, we want to cut it off there. Sorry. Apparently my timer did not register when I clicked it. So, but
Okay, Maria has the next question.
I am going to unmute myself. Good afternoon, Colin. Great to see you.
Hi,
How,
Maria.
how would you work with others to support the district's priorities?
Our district's priorities. The
Yes,
the
sorry.
what I bring to this office and my main motivation for reelection is that we have been tremendously successful in building those relationships, and I've been part and parcel of that again for about 20 years. Um, Example, with the support of all the East Bay legislators, the governor of California, and his natural resources secretary, Wade Crowfoot, the state parks leadership, they all came together and decided that Golden Gate Field should be um, acquired from the owner that shut it down and turned into Shoreline Park. I always assumed it was going to be a state park like the current um, the current parks along the Berkeley waterfront. They're state parks. We operate them. And then I learned that the governor down to the legislative leadership decided, no, let's just we'll acquire the land, Golden Gate Fields, and it's pending, by the way. It's not a done deal. And turn it over to East Bay Parks to operate and raise the money to develop it. That, Maria, is a result of incredible trust and confidence that from the governor on down to the legislature, they have in East Bay Parks. And so we have put a lot of effort into building those relationships, and that's where it pays off.
Next question, please.
That's me. Do you support or oppose project labor agreements, PLAs? Why or why not?
I support them, and we are in the process of negotiating one with the building trades in Contra Costa and one with the building trades in Alameda. It's been going back and forth. The only issue involved in the PLA is what's that threshold that triggers the project being a trades contract as opposed to in-house. And I support, and I have supported that we're a very large agency, and we ought to have the same threshold as the counties have, and that's where it has been at. It's going to be approved. They're going to do it. My impression, and this is very personal, is that the two building trades haven't been very aggressive at getting a PLA with us because we're a public works machine. We're constantly building things, and they're constantly going out to the existing trades. And so they're not particularly worried about non-union contractors getting into our projects because it very, very rarely happens. So in any event, I've been an advocate for it, and I expect us to have one.
Okay, Colin, it's back to me with the next question, which is a budget question. Um, what are the most pressing budget issues facing the district? You've sort of alluded to this. How do you intend, I'm sorry, to address them?
Well, actually, our finances are very strong. We're it's compared to what cities are going through these days in terms of revenues, our revenues continue to grow, and the issue for us is they're growing slower because property tax revenue has been booming, as we all know, for a number of years, and now it isn't. So the way we're adjusting to this is we're just not going to grow as fast as we have over the last 5 years, for instance. And we've come to that conclusion and assessed it and decided that we're not going to hire as many people and we're going to delay some projects, not because we're in a bad financial position. It's just because we can't grow as fast as we have over the last 5 years. Over the last 5 years, we gained 100 FTEs and grew to a labor force of 1,000 people. And we just can't grow that fast anymore because property tax revenues aren't going up. We're also strong on capital because we have the Measure WW funding that voters approved back in 2008, and we still have a lot of that money still left to allocate. So the challenge is not as difficult as it is these days for certainly your city, and but we have to deal with slowing down, and that's the hard part for us. There's so much to do.
Thank you, Colin. Maria has the next question.
Okay, what are the district's plans to update and maintain the district's infrastructure?
Yeah, that's the great debate we have consistently, but these are great problems to have, what to do with trees, how to regulate dogs, you know, uh, uh, where should we build trails and allow bicycles and not. And um, those of you who have been on or are close to city politics, I mean, you these are the easiest stuff to deal with compared to what you folks deal with at the city level. Um, so Maria, tell me again. I had the question down here.
In the chat, but I'll repeat it.
It disappeared.
Okay, what are the district's plans to update and maintain the district's infrastructure?
So that triggered my going off on thinking about how we debate those issues because we're 90 years old. We have a lot of old infrastructure, especially in the East Bay Hills, and yet we have a mission to preserve open space, and our constituents really are uh, they're most pleased with the way we preserve and maintain open space, wildlife habitat, and want us to keep doing that and expand it. But then we drawn back because we need a lot of maintenance and we need to repair facilities that already exist. So this is part of what one of the reasons I'm running. I think I'm good at that balance, Maria. I we can do both. And so people like me on the board have to say, this project, restoring the visitor center in Tilden Park, which has outlived its life, is important, but so is acquiring more land. So that's where I think I bring a lot of experience into what's the right balance there. So I hope that answers that question.
All
Okay,
right.
Colin Jamin has the next question.
Is there a 5-year plan for the district, and what can you tell us about it?
So go to ebparks.org. I'm going to sound like a commercial here, digital commercial. ebparks.org. We are currently in the second year of a 3-year project of creating a new master plan. We don't have a 5-year plan. We have a 2013 plan in place, and we are going to replace it with a new, modernized, updated master plan for the district, in which we have an incredible, very robust community outreach program going. We even have grants going out to local community organizations throughout the 2 counties for them to gather people and bring people to us and tell us what directions they want the Park District to go into. And we're focusing a lot of that effort on equity issues. How do we make people feel more welcome? So there is a link at ebparks.org to the district plan development, our new master plan, and a survey. So, take a few minutes, go and do it. And we're learning a lot by this community input uh, uh, outreach that we're doing. We're spending a lot of money on it, and it's have so far lots of rewards for all the various communities we serve out there in these 2 counties that are so diverse.
Okay, Colin, the next question, you've touched on this. How many employees does the district employ, and which unions represent the employees?
Yeah, we're at 1,000. 400 of them, by the way, are seasonal lifeguards. We are the largest employer in the East Bay of youth, defined as between 16 and 25, because we have all these different roles: lifeguards, kiosk operators, and trails crews. They're young people. We have contracts with Civicor, who most of you probably heard of, a group that a holistic approach to pipeline careers in outdoor work. So Civicor contracts with us, provides lots of kids. We have a little tension with our union over that, right? But my position is it's not outsourcing, that this is creating a pipeline for these kids who aren't going to go to college, maybe or maybe not didn't get, Civicor gets them GED degrees, but we create, by hiring them, pipelines to good union jobs. Um, in any event, AFSCME 2428 is our main union, represents our administrative staff and 600 plus park rangers and our police. We have a 70 sworn officer police force, which, by the way, is fully staffed. And how many agencies with police forces have those departments fully staffed? We do. They have their own association. Our firefighters are, interestingly enough, members of ASME. So they're with a good union. I'll leave it at that in terms of the firefighters. But I'm still stung by what sheriffs and firefighters did to Chanel. You know, that still bothers me.
Thank you for
Did
that.
I answer that?
You did. You did. Thank you. And Maria has the next question.
Okay, great. I will ask, what is the relationship between the district and the various communities? What are some examples of collaboration?
Oh, yeah, we have. I talked about that a little in connection with our outreach efforts for our master plan, targeting very specific groups. Name a ethnic, racial, geographic, any kind of social group that's out there in these two counties. We target them and contact them and develop programs with them. And one of the things I'm kind of proud of is pre-COVID, we had regular wellness walks where our staff would reach out to a given community. I think the last one I did was Korean. Um, Invite that community through their own folks and organizations to a park to engage in a wellness program, which is a little walk around the park, naturalists talking about and interpreting nature around them, and then having that community's particular ceremonies or dances or music just become part of the afternoon. So, Maria, that's kind of stuff we do. It's very specific. It's very robust. We put a lot of effort into it. And it's a combination of our external affairs, public affairs folks working with what we just created last year, an Office of Equity within the administration of East Bay Parks. And Jose Gonzalez is well known in the East Bay and beyond, as that he's the leader of those efforts, those equity DEI efforts that we have. That includes, he put together a budget, and we're granting local community groups money in order to help organize their community input back to us. So it's really good. Specific example is Monument Corridor. There's there's an organization that is kind of like a crisis center out in Monument for seniors in that community. We organized a gathering of that group and took them out to Miller Knox with a naturalist to have a wellness walk out in Miller Knox. So we do a lot of that.
Thank you, Colin. Jamin has the next question.
This is the last one. All right. What, if any, services does the district not that the district does not currently provide would you like to see provided? What, if any, services that the district does not currently provide would you like to see provided?
That's a good question that I haven't thought a lot about as I've entered the campaign for reelection. I have a lot of pursuits that I would like to see done. I have a lot of properties I'd like to see purchased and that I will work on. A lot of funding of projects, of that $500 million in projects we have. So I have a lot of specific goals, interests, and desires to move ahead as we proceed. But your characterization of services that we don't do is different than that. Mine are focused on land, on programs and facilities, trails that are popular with our users. Um, if you could define things like creating better bathrooms as a service, that's on the top of my list. And it's something I kind of laugh because bathrooms aren't a sexy subject, but it's something that I've pushed for years now because those chem toilets that we still have out in remote areas of various parks are just awful. And so I've prioritized and it's successfully getting us to be replacing bathrooms. Um, we're very good with police services. We're very good with fire. Um, I guess if there's one topic on the list that our users want us to do more of, it has to do with fire mitigation services. So I think if I were in charge, it wasn't seven of us, it was just me in response to our growing and very real fears of wildfires. I would provide more services to the communities we interact with around our parks toward fire mitigation.
Great, thank you. And as Jamin said, that was the last question. So you now have a minute and a half for a closing statement.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I really enjoy it, and I want to stress how much I enjoy having an opportunity within this Democratic club, within the Democratic Party of represented by the Central Committee, within the Marsh Creek Club that's endorsed me, Hercules Club did in the past. I literally grew up in this party, not the Democratic Party, but the Contra Costa Democratic Party. It's a third generation Contra Costan and growing up in our communities. And Maria knew my father, right? So this she knows, she understands. So did Michael. I literally, used to go to Central Committee meetings when he was chair, and I was like 10 years old. So this is he was chair what 3 or 4 times, Maria, and then my brother was chair for a while. I served 6 years on the Central Committee when I was a kid in the 1980s. I guess I was over 18. Um, so this Democratic Party, and as it's represented by these clubs, are very important to me. I was among the group in '77. Time's almost up. After Sonny McPeak got to the board of super, we formed a Contra Costa YDs. So I go back to the original Contra Costa County YDs with Melody Weintraub and others. So I just wanted to end on that note that the Democratic Party's involvement in endorsing me has a special meaning to me just by having literally grown up within these surroundings that you folks are all involved in.